Canadian telecom companies decide not to use Huawei for the new 5G network, while banning Huawei would have limited consequences in Canada, and Canada's military pushes to ban the Chinese communication giant while Trudeau sits on the fence. This is the Great White North Report.
I'm in love with the system, always all alone.
Alright, this came out a couple of weeks ago, but because of the George Floyd incident, this got pushed to the side of my agenda. Canadian telecom giants Bell and Telus are going to use Nokia and Ericsson and not Huawei in building their next generation 5G network. So it turns out, all three major telecom companies in Canada will use European suppliers, and they're snubbing Huawei, which is good. BCE said Tuesday they will partner with Swedish telecommunications equipment maker Ericsson to build out its next generation wireless network known as 5G. That's the second company that Bell will allow on its network, along with Finnish supplier Nokia. So that means Huawei is now out in the cold, and this is a huge change of pace considering that 2 years ago Bell was considering using Huawei. Many countries around the world say Huawei's close relationship with the Chinese government could expose cellular networks to spying. This I believe to be true, as there is possibly a backdoor into this. So according to the Vancouver Sun, Telus skips Huawei, picks Ericsson and Nokia to build its 5G network. And that it had already signed a deal with Sweden's Ericsson and Finland's Nokia to provide the components for the 5G networks. And there's no figure on how much the deal cost. That way we don't have to worry about any possible security concerns with Sweden and Finland, unlike with China. Which brings us to the ban on Huawei. This has been raging for the past 2 years in Canada, if not more. Trudeau has kind of sat on the fence on this one. Our former spy chief said that banning Huawei would have limited consequences for Canada. That might be true. China would take it as an insult if we formally ban Huawei, and they would exert economic pressure on us, as they have in the past with ban on canola seed and halting pork products. They might also no longer allow Chinese tourists to come to Canada, and that is a big industry, or the students that go to our universities. Not that I'm not sorry to see that would happen. I think we should limit the amount of students that come from mainland China, as well as the amount of investment coming out of mainland China to our universities and colleges, as there are corrupting influences. Everyone thinks that because China is so big and that it has the second biggest economy in the world, that they're so important we can't antagonize them. And China projects that. They're very much a bully. They bully people into doing what they want. And for too long we've let it slide. So I agree that we would not be materially hurt too much, as we can always find a new supply chain. There might be a little bit of a little heartache, but in the end we could just outsource to another country. So this is going on with the Five Eyes Alliance that we have with the US, Australia, Great Britain, and New Zealand. The US has threatened to kick us out of that if Trudeau does not ban Huawei. Now our own military wants Trudeau to ban Huawei from 5G networks. And Trudeau has had this in his lap since 2018. He's been told over and over again that the security risks, but Trudeau is desperately trying not to make a decision. I think in 2018 he didn't really care because the election was coming up and he wasn't sure if he'd win. So he would just let the next prime minister deal with it. But now that he has a minority government, he now has to tread softly, because the Canadian government has, after all, given Huawei millions in funding over the debate for its 5G role. Now Huawei does have strong ties to the Communist Party, very strong ties to that, and it would be considered a security risk if we use their networks. Now Huawei has invested hundreds of millions of dollars in this country. Yeah, including advertisement. Just look at Hockey Night in Canada, a bunch of sellouts. But we've also sent money to the giant tech, at least one province in Ottawa. We've provided millions in funding to Huawei and academic researchers collaborating with it. Most of the grants designed to enhance the company's 5G prowess. We've created our own monster, in other words. Instead of using that on our own homemade 5G network, we've helped another government that's hostile. This includes a $16 million handout from Ontario's former Liberal government to Huawei in 2016. Now I feel sorry I voted for that idiot. Augmenting money the company said it would spend on enhancing 5G research in the province. McGill University engineering professor receiving $740,000 from a federal funding agency over 5 years for cutting work with the firm on the next generation wireless. So this guy from McGill is getting money from the Canadian government, this technology, and then he's giving it to China as well. Which brings us to this. Most Canadians oppose Huawei's 5G bid, and ever since they illegally detained Michael Kovrig and Michael Spavor, and with the CCP virus going on, more and more of us are looking at China with disdain, and we don't want anything to do with them. I certainly don't. That's not racism, that's just pragmatic. I have a very unfavorable opinion of the Communist Party of China and do not want them here or have anything to do with them. So if we don't ban Huawei officially, the U.S. State Department will reassess intelligence sharing with Canada, especially if it lets Huawei into the 5G network. With Bell and Telus doing what they're doing, it's like a face-saving measure for Trudeau, because Trudeau really wants to get more into the Chinese market, facing a lot of pressure from business people who want in the Chinese market, even though it's not what it's cracked up to be. And this is a way for him to save face, because now, hey, Bell and Telus aren't going to allow it. He can just say, well, they're not going to do it. We don't have anything to fear. Have an official announcement saying we're going to ban it. Though it would make sense to ban it and reassure our allies. So if we don't officially ban it, the U.S. won't share certain intelligence with us, and that would leave us in the dark in a lot of ways. So if I was Trudeau, I would definitely start that ball rolling. The problem with him is it takes him so long to make a decision. So even Yahoo Finance finally got something right. Yahoo snubbed, Huawei snubbed by Canadian firms ahead of Trudeau's crucial 5G call. Trudeau's had a crucial 5G call for the last 2 years and has sat on the fence, done nothing. This is from January. Pending decision on Huawei 5G puts Trudeau government under pressure. So again, it's a face-saving measure for Trudeau. He can say, well, I didn't make the decision to ban Huawei. It's our companies that did. Our independent companies, just like our independent judicial system. But he is still trying to he just made himself look weaker in the eyes of everybody involved, from the Chinese Communist Party, the U.S., to all our other allies. Having some balls and taking a stance on something, he's letting events happen. So it remains to be seen if Trudeau will take that step of officially banning Huawei. I hope he does, but I'm not holding my breath for this guy, and I don't expect an announcement this year regarding it, nor do I expect Spavo or Corvette to be free anytime soon. But hopefully he does that and we can get on to things. Anyway, all those Canadians out there, let me know what you guys think about banning Huawei. I'm all in favor of it. And until next time, this is the Great White North Report. I'm out of here.
Every new government's more expensive than the last. Watch the fresh ways they have to waste our taxes fast. You can try to hang me, I'll make sure the rope gets broke.